Welcome, everybody, to the Think Different podcast. My God, it's been a long couple of days, but we are back up here again for another wonderful edition of the Think Different podcast. We are former Apple retail employees coming to you with all the Apple news going on in the world, and now it's time to hear our thoughts about what just happened at WWDC. But before we start, my name is Will. I am a former Apple genius, professional wrestler, creative, everything. If you need IT, man, I am the guy to go to. But if you need a guy who doesn't work at all, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Keto drummer Frank Funk is here in his Jurassic Park hat.
That's it. We're going back.
Is that part of your gimmick now that you're gonna wear the hat?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
See, because if I take the hat off, there's too much glare. So
that's true. We definitely don't need any more glare in our videos. But today we are, I guess, again, Zevia's here once more for another non-sponsorship. Gotta take a drink. Frank, we have so much to get into. I didn't even bother with this history of the week because we have WWDC to talk about. This is definitely one of the biggest WWDCs in a long time. A lot of things were talked about. I can't remember a March or April or spring time frame where we've had this much talked about in a time frame. But let's kick it off right away, Frank. Without going into details, I need to know what was your feedback regarding how this WWDC went.
WWDC or the event?
Well, the event, Apple event, WWDC, okay. Whatever you want to call it.
All right. Well, finally, AirTags.
Overall impressions, Frank, without going into detail or breaking it down. We're gonna break that down.
I'd have to say that I was a little bit flat on it.
Okay. A little bit flat. I mean, we'll talk about why in a second. Yeah. You know, for me, I was very impressed with the amount of, things that were coming out right now. And there are some things I'm definitely going to be buying. And I enjoyed it. Again, the production, top notch. Is definitely one of the best produced, things. Like, if we go back to the old format, I guarantee we won't like it as much. I think we like the production of it.
Yeah, the production certainly is top notch. That's for sure.
If they have a way to do the production and then it somehow goes to the stage, that's what I would like. More so than everything being. It just feels like those other Apple events are too long compared to these.
Well, it's just different, And
we're different.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the Think Different podcast, everybody. You should be following us on the Facebook and the Twitter machine. It's at Think Different Podcast on our Facebook, as well as Think Diff Pod on our Twitter. But let's talk about the actual things that happened. So, services. Number one, there were two major services that they decided to do. Number one, Apple Card Family is out, which now allows users to share the same Apple Card with other family members. And Apple says they created this feature to reinvent how spouses, partners, and people you trust most share credit cards and build credit together. So this is really, I think, their idea of trying to have children have a credit card, but not really. You can have spending limits. You can help improve credit. Meanwhile, not making them apply for another card. That's what it sounds like this is for.
Again, it's based on, they have to be 13 at least. I was, again, I was, big deal. To me, this kind of harkens back to when people used to use a single Apple ID. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you know how at some point that gets to be very confusing and muddled. I don't know.
I think the main thing is that this is going to entice people to be in the family plan. I think the old days of the Apple ID being shared by the family is long gone, based on the family accounts and how you can merge them together, because this is a feature that forces you to do that. Now, right now, I have absolutely no use for it. My wife is not going to use the Apple Card. Now, you can get 2% back if they use their version of the Apple Card on their phones and stuff like that. So maybe it's a shared cash account, that you can have, I guess. I don't know if it's a shared cash account or not.
Yeah, like I said, my wife has her own card. I talked her into getting one. I have mine. And I don't. I mean, I guess they have some other future plans in mind, but I don't really see this as being a big selling point.
I get it. I challenge you, Frank, though, to sign up for that and see what happens, since you both have an Apple Card. And I'd be curious to know what that really does, if it does anything special. But let's move on from that. Apple also, now this is interesting for us, because Apple is introducing a podcast subscription, which a new feature in Apple Podcasts. They're going to redesign the entire app, and they're going to allow users to sign up for the Apple Podcast subscriptions, and you get exclusive podcasts. Now, they're not going to be exclusive podcasts. It looks like it's going to be more like exclusive episodes, more so than they're still telling people to, go out and create your own one somewhere else. But they're also saying that you need to build specific episodes just for this dashboard. And also it's going to help people who maybe want to get started to be on this platform. Now, what's interesting is that if me and you wanted to go on here, wanted to enroll into this, we would pay $20 a year to be a part of this platform, which I thought was not bad. Right. And then for the paid part of it, that the company will keep 30% of the creator's private podcast revenue, and it will drop to 15% in their second year of enrollment. So that's how it works.
Well,
now for what we talk about, I don't think we're going to be allowed on there, but I thought it was very interesting how they're trying to do what Spotify does, get that exclusivity without taking people specifically, and maybe they're going to do that, but it's like the Joe Rogan. He's only on Spotify. You can't get him anywhere else.
Yeah. I would like to sign up for that and see what it offers to us.
Right.
And at the same time, see if we get any feedback as to, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that.
Well, that's my. I think Apple's going to be very lean. I think they need to know what the podcast is about. That I definitely think they need to know about. But if you're like think of it like Patreon. Patreon is probably the most popular spot right now where people do exclusive stuff just on their Patreon channel. Well, now you could do this on this subscription model. And I guess I don't know what Patreon takes away from them, but this is like an exclusive spot to throw things on. So I could see like people who do the Patreon channels could really like this.
Yeah, and the from my understanding is that in order for a viewer to subscribe to this, it's going to cost them somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 cents a month. At least that's the initial thinking.
It's got to be super cheap. It can't be that much or if you have the Apple family, that's the Apple One, that has to be included in there now.
Yeah.
Like absolutely.
Well, I hope so, but you never know, because based on some of the other things that Apple did in the event, I'm just like, oh, please.
All right. Well, those were the services updates, but let's talk about AirTags. Now everyone knew this was coming. So in case you don't know what this is, Apple is allowing you to buy something to track in the Find My app. And you can attach this to a backpack, keys, wallet. Apple is using two main features: the water resistance and, to my surprise, a user replaceable battery.
Yes.
Which is a great thing. I was hoping that they would do this. Apple says that it offers 1 year's worth of battery life with everyday use, and features a removable cover to make it easy for users to replace the battery. The battery is a standard coin cell battery, like the standard one I think like on a watch or something like that.
Right.
You pair it just like you do AirPods, and then you could buy it for $29, or you could buy a 4-pack of $99. Pre-orders begin Friday the 23rd, which will be today the episode goes up, and the first orders will arrive April 30th. You could also even personalize the AirTags. You could have special engravings. Probably can't do the word, the F word, or probably a 69 or something like that, but you could definitely do that. And then, of course, they have a ton of accessories, which we're going to talk about later on in the episode, about little tidbits that they have. But AirTags, $29. Great price. Love that. Pack of 4, even better. $100. I think comparing that to Tile, Tile's in trouble.
Well,
I think Tile's in trouble.
To me, this segment, the AirTag segment, that was probably my favorite part of the production.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty ingenious how they did it. The replaceable batteries I like.
Mm-hmm.
The price I like.
Yep.
I owned the tiles. How useful they were, I don't know.
I thought they were useful for my situations.
Yeah.
I did find times where I needed to use my tile. Maybe not all the time, but I had to use it.
Now the things I didn't like about AirTags is the fact that they have accessories that cost more than the AirTags. I'm like, Hermes.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Accessories.
$449 for that thing. You know what? The old person I used to work for at SiriusXM, he's gonna be one of those people buying that stupid thing, and he's gonna put it on SiriusXM's dime to pay for that.
Oh yeah, of course.
So because he needs that.
Like I said, the device itself.
I wouldn't be bothered by the accessory because there's going to be so many third parties out there that are going to charge you $5 for like an accessory. Right. To me, buying Apple's accessories is pointless. Maybe the Belkin one, which is a much more affordable one. I think it's like $15, $16, which is a little bit more fair. Yeah. But think about my plan is to buy a 4-pack of these. I already know it's going to go on my keys, my backpack, and I'm going to put one on my dog too because I think.
Did you notice that? Is one of the emojis that you can personalize it with is a star, so you can get your Dallas Cowboys star on there.
Ah, thank you. Yes, I should totally do that. What about an eagle on there? Is there an eagle one?
No. They would have to license that through the NFL, and I doubt that's going to happen.
That would be interesting. Don't you think Apple would? That's an interesting idea to actually do that. But I would love that. Personally, I mean, that would look great. I might just write TLD on mine. I think that would be fun.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
This is actually the one product that Apple has I would absolutely personalize.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Like I said, this for me was a plus in the event.
Even the precision direction, I thought that was really neat. The idea that it points you where to go, and it's what is it like? Such a small amount of like where the actual tag
down
is.
To the feet.
Right. It's really that amazing. So I thought that was a great thing. We knew about it forever, so I think a lot of people weren't too surprised by it. But when you finally see it and they finally talk about it, it gets you excited again. And again, the price, very exciting for that one.
The thing I think that. I think these probably were ready quite a while
ago.
Oh,
yeah. That's why they're available right now. They're available this week to order.
I think that they had to open up the Find My app to third parties
before
to help fight the antitrust suits that could be going on. So
I can't imagine that this is not a response to that. Absolutely. No segue into this, but let's talk about the next item they talked to, which was the Apple TV. Apple announced.
Oh wait, you missed one, man.
What did I miss?
You missed the one that I think was absolutely the most frivolous thing that they debuted.
And I'm sorry, the Barney phone. I totally forgot about the Barney phone. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Yes, the purple iPhone. That's right. I totally forgot about that.
That was almost a lead-off item, and I was like, really? I was like, well, okay.
Okay, it's like, okay, I guess people want a purple iPhone. But I thought it looked nice. It looked good for the Mini and the iPhone 12. It's only in those two. But again, same thing. You could order them today, Friday, and you could order it April 30th. So that's when it'll get here.
I mean, I don't know what the significance of the purple iPhone is.
Just to play a Willy Wonka song in the freaking Apple event keynote. That's why.
I don't know. But anyway, I was not thrilled with that.
Well, you already have one.
Yeah.
But Apple did not spend a lot of time on that. Okay, let's just get that straight. It was very quick.
All right.
Like they definitely did not make that a big deal. So,
I would have framed that around. Oh yeah, and one more thing, we have a purple iPhone for you if you want it. I would have done that at the end.
I wouldn't end the keynote with that because I think you got to remember that's a higher expectation than that. People would hate it. I think they put that in the correct spot.
I think people hate it as it is. It's like, yeah, big deal.
Ooh, I have not heard one person say, "Oh my God, why would Apple do that?" Well, maybe because the iPhone 12 is selling good. Maybe they can get a couple more hits.
You're getting soft, Will. You're getting soft, man.
I mean, I don't care about it. I'm not buying the iPhone because it's purple. I'm just telling you that now.
Right.
But when was the last time you saw a purple iPhone, Frank?
I don't think I ever saw purple.
All right, that's why it's there. Now, something has no color whatsoever. The Apple TV came out.
The Apple TV has true color.
As black, as a black color. And that's right, which technically is not a color, because technically black is not a color. But it is coming with an A12 Bionic processor, which is awesome. Yes. Also, it gives you a higher refresh rate content. Now, this is cool because what they're doing is they're going to give you 120 hertz refresh rate, even if your TV doesn't support that.
Yeah.
Now, that's cool because, a lot of TVs, they don't put that much work into the hardware behind the scenes of their TVs. It's all about look. It's all about the LED. That's what it's all about. But Apple is putting all of it into the physical box. So that way, when you are watching content, not only can it refresh the rate, but now they're even offering a feature that allows you to scan your phone to get a much better color palette on your actual television. Now, I will let you know, that feature is coming out for other Apple TVs. It's not just for this one, that color feature. But the idea of updating the Apple TV to make the color looking much better than what the TV can actually do, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but this was, to me, I guess I don't know, I keep expecting more than just upgrades to the physical device. I would love to see.
Well, we had one big upgrade to the physical device, and that was a Siri remote. We needed a new remote. That was like,
and they went back to it. They went back to the click wheel.
Yes.
Come on. I don't know.
Well, what do you want it to do? The swipe sucks.
I don't know.
But the actual, to me, the remote is much, much better. This is a much more convenient. Even the scrolling to fast forward, I used to have to click, swipe, or just swipe in general.
Yeah, and you never got exactly where you wanted.
Right. This seems to be much more precise on that. It also is going to have the Siri button on the side, which I think is more natural to what we always do. Yeah. There's a back button to remove the menu button.
Is this remote compatible with other Apple TVs?
Yes, sir, it is. That's the best part. Yes.
Well, then now I'm not so down on it.
Yeah, you could buy the remote for $59 separately. You can now the Apple TV ordering starts April 30th. It'll ship the second half of May. Now it's $179, which is the same price as it was before for a 32 gig and a $199 for 64. Plus, they have also giving a HD version of this. They have the Apple HD. So if you don't want the 4K version, there is an Apple HD version for one size. I believe it's $159. I don't have it on my screen, but there is two different versions of the Apple TV. So, will you buy the remote?
Yeah, I definitely will.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Even if I'm definitely in the market for another Apple TV. Not to mention, my third generation Apple TV can't really support anything anymore except for AirPlay. It's completely useless at this point. So I might as well move the one in my living room upstairs, and then I'm going to put this one on the main TV downstairs. But one thing I definitely don't need, but the world was craving for, Frank, iMac has finally come with a brand new design. Now, before I go into the details, Frank, I have to hear, what are your thoughts on design, look, the iMac itself, what it could do, the Touch ID on the keyboard, the mouse, the magnetic cable in the back? There's a lot of crazy innovation here.
There's a lot of pluses that I liked.
Yeah.
But there are a few minuses. And I don't know why I think this, but I'm not crazy about all the colors.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. That's what I've read.
I mean, think about that. Well, from the back of the house, right? From an inventory standpoint, this is I won't say it's a nightmare, but it's more of a problem than if you had a 24-inch and a 27-inch and different iterations of RAM and internal storage. Now you got to have 7 different colors in basic configurations and several iterations of modified configurations. The only way I think this will work, I should say the only way, but I think the best way this will work is if people order online and go and pick up in the store. And my inclination would be, if people are going to order online, you're just going to have it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
the colors are nice, I guess, but it's not. Yeah. It doesn't really do anything.
Well, I'm a little upset they don't have just a plain black one or a space gray. I mean, they went with the white, the blue, purple, red, orange, yellow. I think the blue one might look kind of nice. I'm thinking so where am I going to put this in my home? You have to make sure you get the right color that matches what your home looks like. So some homes might look good with the blue. I think blue is going to be the most popular one.
Yeah, I think I kind of liked. I haven't seen the back of it, but the green. I like the blue and the green.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's definitely colorful, maybe a little too colorful, but there's a lot of really good things. Let's talk about some of the things, though, that I think that makes this more special, and that is the internals. So we have, finally, a 1080p. God bless the Lord.
Yep, there you go. All right. Let's hand it to Apple. Finally did it.
Which also, with the help of the M1, should help with the look of it, as well as studio quality microphone array, as well as spatial audio, Adobe Spatial Audio, first time inside of a Mac.
The fans, so it's supposed to be super quiet. And the M1 chip, of course, that's going to really enhance the performance.
I mean, they literally opened the inside and showed you everything's on the bottom. That whole bezel area, that's blocking everything that has all the connections are down there.
Well, you know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of the schematic that you could see of not the iPad Air, but the MacBook Air, when they first rearranged that motherboard to make it just the top piece. I mean, the computer portion of this is so small.
Yes.
I'm surprised that there's not a door on the back that you could just pop off and get to just that, because everything else is screen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have to open it the same way with the VHB. I guarantee you it's held on the same way as that. What I like about this, too, is they're also doing a 11-inch millimeter screen. Now, that is super thin, to the point where the headphone jack had to be moved to the side, which actually I prefer better. Yeah. And that because it's kind of like your laptop anyway.
Yes.
And it's on the side because they couldn't fit. Obviously, there's no SD card slot, which a lot of people don't like. But also on the back, you have 2 Thunderbolts on the back and 2 regular USBs on the back. Of course, there's no regular USB-A, so of course, Dongle City has returned. But we have to talk about that cable, because the cable magnetically attaches to the back of the power,
which is I think very nice.
Yes,
but this is the one thing you're talking about. What's missing on the back for those who like to have their iMac hardwire connected to their internet rather than through Wi-Fi. That Ethernet connection only comes through the
power
brick.
Supply.
Yes.
They moved the power supply out of the iMac, by the way, so that's a significant part too.
Yes.
That it's now a separate piece, and if you buy the $14.99 model, which you have to buy that model specifically, that gets you the Ethernet connectivity on the brick. Now, you see that as a detriment, because I'm a little shocked by that.
I see it as a detriment that it just doesn't come with it on any model. That's what I'm saying.
It does come with it on the $14.99 model.
Yeah. Okay, so why not on the $12.99 model?
Well, because there's many things that are missing on that model. So it comes down to what a $200 value means to you. And we'll break down the pricing so people understand that. But the other major significance was the Magic Keyboard now has a Touch ID on it to not only unlock your Mac, but even if you're doing fast switching, you can do it with your finger. Now that is awesome. That is a cool part to have on your Mac now.
Well, you actually have 3 keyboards that you can choose from.
Right.
There's a standard keyboard, in whatever color you like.
Right.
All right. First of all, that's without the Touch ID. That's your base model.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could have the Magic Mouse in whatever color, or the trackpad in whatever color.
Mm-hmm.
The next keyboard has the Touch ID in whatever color. Then the I'll say the last one
the numeric one, the numeric keypad
with the numeric keyboard and keyport. And if you're an accounting type person, work with numbers, that I was sad when they got rid of that. I didn't. That was just, to me, it was like, oh, that's crazy. But they did. Now they brought it back.
Yeah, and they have a wireless one specifically. Those are wired. This is the first time I could think of where a Magic Keyboard with a numeric pad is wireless.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty confident it's the first time they're doing it. So there are so many technical features in this device that I think is revolutionary to a computer. You know, with the caveat of maybe I don't like the color or design, maybe it won't look good in a house, but the technological is what makes me more excited about it. So let's break it down. So the 1299 model is an 8-core CPU and a 7-core GPU with 8 gigs of unified memory with 256 gigs of storage, 2 Thunderbolt ports. That's right, only 2. There's no USB.
Yep.
Magic Keyboard without the Touch ID and a Magic Mouse. Now for and also certain colors are not available in that version as well. So there's no yellow, there's no orange. I believe there's no purple either. So
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's no yellow, orange, pink, or purple in that model.
Yes.
Which is fine because I think the blue and the silver look the best anyway.
Yes.
I'm sorry, pink is there. I'm sorry, it's really it's yellow, orange, and purple.
And the red, right?
Well, pink is what they call it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So now the 1499 model is an 8-core CPU and an 8-core GPU, 8 gigs of memory with 256 storage, 2 Thunderbolt ports plus 2 USB 3 ports, the Magic Keyboard with the Touch ID, and the Ethernet connectivities on the power supply. So for $200, you have more color options, more USB ports, a Touch ID, and an Ethernet connectivity. Now, so for me, the value of the $200 is there.
Yeah.
Now, is it silly that they don't include it all in that $1299 model? Well, if you don't need Ethernet, you don't need that. You know, most people are wireless now today. Maybe the color you need is not there. Maybe the only thing you really want is the Magic Keyboard. But beyond that, I mean, you know.
I would. Did they have a price for upping the unified memory?
Oh, my goodness, man. Now you're making me go to apple.com, man. So I figure that out.
Because, I mean, you know, well, again, with the M1 chip, I don't, you know, it's just an unknown. Is 8 gigs sufficient, or would you be
for an M1? Remember, this is an M1 Mac you're talking about here,
right?
Please do not compare that.
Well, you know, what I'm saying is, like, you know, we're so used to upping the RAM.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to 16 gig, or do you stay with the 8 and then you know you have 256? Is that enough?
I'm going to tell you right now, any M1 Mac is good enough. I don't think. Now I'm still going to tell you to get the 1499 model because I think that in the future,
I get you there, but you wouldn't recommend going to 16 gig or 512?
Not for a regular person. No, like I would tell you not to, but for me because I'm a video editor, yes, I would. That's for sure. I can tell you that the storage, the most you could do is 2 terabytes in the bigger model, the 1499 or 6999 model, and then as far as memory goes, you could do up to 16 gigs of memory. It doesn't matter which model you pick.
Do they have a 512?
Well, that's storage, yes. The highest you could do is 2 terabytes. Inside of this iMac, and then the highest memory you could do is 16 gigs, which makes sense because you can't do more than 16 gigs on all the other models anyway.
Yeah. So what with 16 gig and 512? What's it price out at?
It doesn't have a price here because again, it doesn't let me do the actual. Remember, technically it's not available yet, but I'm going to tell you it's probably going to be around the $2,000 area.
Now the other thing is, it says here the magic mouse. What if you want the trackpad?
You can substitute it. There's a fee involved.
Or is there an increase?
There's an increase substituting it. Yes. Same thing with the keyboard as well if you want the numeric. So there are substitutes to it. They haven't put it online yet, but that will happen on April 30th. So check out apple.com. Overall, I'm very impressed with the actual, like, even just something as simple as the magnetic. MagSafe's coming back on that MacBook Pro. You know it's coming now because they're doing that. This is now the second time they brought magnetics to something. I'm telling you, it's happening.
Yeah. Now, see, I have a 27-inch right now that I'm using, and I love it. Now I'm wondering, okay, do I wait until the 27 comes out?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I say, well, you know what, I'll go with the 24?
Mm-hmm. How long have you had that computer now, Frank?
Frank's
got to go back in time.
I don't know.
Well, while he's figuring that out, the last thing Apple did talk about was the iPad Pro. The 11 and 12.9-inch iPad Pro has been upgraded with a new M1 chip. So now the M1 chip now comes into the iPad Pro. Frank, did you find out your...
Yes. Late 2014.
Oh, it's time for you to get an upgrade, sir. That is almost 7 years old.
Yeah.
It's time for it. Going back to the iPad Pro, the newer, larger 12.9-inch also has something called the Liquid Retina XDR. It's bringing that XDR quality from the super expensive display to this model using a mini LED screen. So the blacks are blacker and the other things are colorful and the other things look better, blah, 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 blah. So,
yeah, but the iPad Pro it got really heavy into the technical end of it.
Yes, it really did.
I don't think it brought any
new users.
I mean, there were a lot of wow factors for those that are interested in the technology of it.
Mm-hmm.
But for the casual user who has an iPad that says, well, why would I spend all that money on this? What did I get for it?
Right.
You know?
You're right.
And I also think Apple is getting hurt with the commercials for the Surface, where it compares, you want a keyboard? Oh, that's extra. You want this? That's extra.
Right.
You know?
But, well, they've always been doing that, though. And to be fair, I don't think Apple's going to change.
No, I don't. You're right.
So, I mean, they're expensive. I mean, let's break down this. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to let you guess. What is the highest amount of, what's the price of a 12.9 iPad? What's the price of a 12.9 iPad Pro with cellular with a 2 terabyte option? How much is it?
It's got to be close to 12.
12?
Yeah.
Try to go higher. $23.99.
$23.99?
$23.99. Yeah. Now, also, it says 5G for the first time. And also, it's going to have a new 2 terabyte option. Remember, so
what's the 12.9-inch model that starts at $10.99?
Starts at $10.99 for the 128 gig model, and then it goes up. And obviously, if you want Wi-Fi or cellular, and then the 11-inch iPad Pro starts at $7.99. So they did up the price of the 12.9-inch. That's $100 difference because you want to get that really good screen. That's what they're doing. You can pre-order that April 30th. Start shipping in the second half of May. They also upgraded the Magic Keyboard accessory with a new white color option, so they have that as well. Now, what I thought was very interesting, we're going to talk a little bit about the tidbits now. Some of the stuff, every time we do one of these WWDCs, they don't mention some things, and I wanted to talk about it. The first thing I wanted to talk about was AppleCare. They have again changed AppleCare around. Frank, they are now allowing you, if you buy within 30 days AppleCare Plus, you can now add coverage beyond the 3 years of having it.
Wow.
So now they're offering a longer time to have the warranty, and then they will automatically cancel your plan with a 60-day notice if it doesn't have any necessary parts anymore. So believe it or not, you can go as long as until they don't have parts anymore to have the warranty. That's right. That means that the Mac never has to go out of warranty if you don't want it to.
Well, you're saying that they'll cancel it once it becomes
obsolete, vintage.
Obsolete, yeah.
Yeah, vintage.
Right.
Yeah, they call it a vintage state,
Yeah.
which typically is around the 5 to 6 year mark.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
It is.
yeah, so now how much easier is it to sell it now? So now you have 30 days to buy the AppleCare. If you don't, you're out completely. But if you buy it now or within the 30 days, you can keep adding your AppleCare on monthly and cancel when you're ready to cancel it. Pretty cool.
It is. You know, that's as much as I was saying earlier, how Apple likes to hit you with these things that cost extra. It seems like AppleCare, you're getting more and more for your money.
Yes, that is for sure.
Oh,
That's comparing to
a plus.
when we were at the store, when we first started, you had a year warranty with it, a limited warranty, which
Right.
was the same as what AppleCare was anyway, except they tried to tout that you had better support. And then you would add on AppleCare, which will then give you 2 more additional years, no coverage on your... there'd be no coverage on your hardware as far as physical damage.
Right.
That's where we've come from.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just
I
saying.
have to tell you, as a funny thing, you know, I bought my grandson a new iPad, right?
Mhm.
And he had it a week and cracked the screen.
Nice.
I was like, are you kidding me, right? So I took it in, and, you know, they replaced it and everything, but it was just the idea that, you know, what are you going to do, right? Kids. Good thing
Did
I
you have
had the Apple
AppleCare?
protection.
Yeah. Yeah, that cost you what, $29 to $49, something like
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's totally worth having it, especially on the iPad.
Oh, yeah.
Now, also, some other tidbits. The Magic Keyboard with Touch ID is going to cost $50 extra for the base model M1 Mac. So we talked about the $1299 Mac doesn't come with it, but for $50 more, you can upgrade it.
Now, does that come on the numeric keyboard as well?
They have the numeric option for $80.
Yeah, but on the numeric option, that comes with Touch ID as well?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's Touch ID
Yes.
and numeric?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I think to me that's worth it.
Right. I agree with you on that. So if you're getting the very base model and you do want the Touch ID option, you just got to pay a little bit of an upgrade, $30 or $80 for the upgrade. So that's not too bad. It's a $50 upgrade for that one or a $80 upgrade. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, my question. Now, we also know that the Magic Keyboard is compatible with other M1 Macs, so you can use it for a MacBook Air. You can use it for a MacBook Pro as well. However, the iPad Pro does not work with the Touch ID, which stinks because that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
That would have been a great way to get into your Mac without using the Face ID.
Yep.
Also, with the iMac, there's a couple other things. We talked about this already with the headphone jack being on the side, no SD card slot. They are also offering Wi-Fi 6 support. So the newest and latest Wi-Fi is on there. Also, AirTags, separated from their owners for 3 days or more, will play an audible sound when it's moved. So I wonder, so that's very interesting because that means if someone kicks it or moves it, a noise will be made so that maybe someone could find it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you have to if you're not using it for a long period of time, you just can't locate it. All of a sudden, you'll hear a sound go off on it, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. I wonder how many people would use them as like a dog tag for.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, like, well, not so much for your animals, but let's say for your son. You know.
I'll put a tag on my son. Absolutely, I'll stick that right on his butt and make sure he doesn't go. I'll tape it right on his rear end. That way, I know where my son is. Absolutely, you should put that on somewhere in like a piece of clothing.
Yeah.
I would even, if you wanted to go that far with it, a lot of people like to sew something into clothes.
Yeah.
That you could do that with as well.
Yeah, like a little Velcro pocket.
Or like a watch or something something like that can I think that would be great if Apple came up with like a tracking like watch they could put on them.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Well,
It's actually called the Apple Watch if you really wanted that. So, last thing, another thing was the iPad Pro has that new feature called the center stage, and we saw that where the camera is a wide angle camera, and now it can, as you're moving through the frame, it'll know that and pan or move with you
Yeah.
as you're moving. I guess that's useful. don't know how useful it's going to be, but
Well,
it's there. If you're buying an iPad Pro just for that feature, I mean, you're crazy.
No, well, I don't think it's just for that feature, right? But I do think it's one of those. Well, I won't buy it because of that, but it would be a nice to have,
Right?
Especially if you're doing what we're doing. Instead of using a Mac and a separate camera, you're using your iPad, and if you wanted to move around, then that would, pan out, pan in, center you in the shot automatically. So I could see where it would be useful, but is it a singular selling point? No, I don't think so.
No. Also, with AirTags, Belkin has the cheapest one on the market right now that Apple's selling on their website. It'll be $12.95 for the secure holder. So again, Apple does have them for much more money, but Belkin is also selling their pricing at $13. So again, you're not. I don't think anybody should be buying, those Apple's versions of it. Definitely don't buy the Hermes one. Those are just nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the tidbits that came out with that's happened since then. So overall, my thoughts on WWDC. I think that a lot of great stuff happened that we kind of knew was happening, and I think there's a lot of technology advancement, especially in the iMac, that is very worth upgrading. If you have the model that you have right now, Frank, you're a perfect customer for this.
Yeah.
I think you would be buying it.
And I could send my current iMac to Brent, right?
Yeah, Brent will break that too.
And I could get about $675 for my iMac.
Yeah, you could go to sellyourmac.com and do that.
That's
because
right.
As well.
That's right.
So I'm sure Brian's going to be very busy there. In case you don't know, he was a guest in our episode 84. Check that out in our archives of our episodes where we had an interview with Brian. He was great, but he's probably getting ready for all those iMacs to be sold to him.
But his way.
And I talked to him. He's very excited for a lot of the stuff. Of course, he's an Apple fan guy, so he's going to like everything they do. And I still think that this was a great WWDC. Again, the production was great. I like the guy on the roof jumping down, ended up being Tim, which was kind of funny. So there was, I like the hello and the colors. I thought that was very old school. Apple with the new school, tying in with the iMac colors. So really, really good stuff. And plus, we needed a new iMac. This was like, we needed a new Mac. And we're not done this year because I'm telling you right now, when September hits and that new MacBook Pro, that 15-inch comes out, my God, I cannot wait because I'm already in the market to buy that. I just bought myself a brand new Sony camera last week that I got to use this weekend. It's called the A7S III. It is unbelievable compared to my old camera.
Well, all right. So my overall take of the event, I thought that there were a lot of items that the Apple world has been waiting for a long time. The AirTags included.
New iMac included. I would include
the iMac, the AirTags. And so now that all of those prior expectations are finally here, now I think for the rest of 2021, the expectation is, okay, now show me some wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, show me some new product or something people are going to go, I never expected that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody.
I don't know if they can because Apple like releases are always kind of like known about. If you're on the rumor sites, you'll know what's kind of happening. But here's an example. With the iMac, no one knew it was going to be 11 millimeters thin. No one knew that the headphone jack was going to be on the side.
Well, did you know they were going to have a purple iPhone?
I'm afraid that one I missed. But Touch ID on the keyboard, I didn't see that coming. I honestly thought it was going to be more Face ID, but I prefer Touch ID over anything.
Well, I mean, listen, I like the facial recognition on my phone. I do. But I do see the value of the Touch ID because you can have more than one registered.
Yep.
So, that's a plus.
Yep.
If they ever get to a point where they can have more than one facial recognition,
Which they technically do. You could do an alternate face, so you could do that. But you have to have a specific thing you're wearing.
Yeah.
Like your glasses or something. Like you have to be very specific on that. But I see what you're saying. You can have up to 5 Touch IDs on there. Not to mention like the fast switching feature.
Yeah.
I think is really awesome. I don't know if that's good. I'm assuming that's going to be an update in Big Sur as well. If you already have Touch ID on your like Mac now, can you do that now? I think you can. So there's. I love the hardware that they came out with. Even the Ethernet in the power adapter. I'm surprised it took the power adapter out. I'll be honest.
Well, like I said, the only downside for me on that was, and it's not really a downside. I just didn't see why they didn't put it in.
They told you why.
The base model and all the way up.
Oh, I don't know why they didn't do that. I mean, obviously it's a money thing.
Yeah. See, to me, that's something that they could have put in the base model, and I mean, how much money can it possibly be?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But think of what you're. Let's just say that you went from $200 more, from $12.99 to $14.99, and the only thing you got was that Ethernet. Then I could completely.
No, I would. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying put it in there, and don't worry about a price increase.
Right.
Okay. Because what's happening is that, to me, the mindset's going to be, oh, if I want to go Ethernet, even if you never intended to go internet, wireless rather, or the Ethernet cable, what's happening is it draws attention to it. And people say, oh, if I wanted to hardwire it, I have to go up to the.
Well, to be fair, you can also get a USB-C to Ethernet adapter, so don't think you're out of luck. No. If you really want it and you don't care for it to be in the power adapter, you can get the Thunderbolt one. So please don't think you're out of it.
Yeah.
So don't forget that, Frank. You're almost forgetting like you can't do it at all, and you can.
Well,
you see the dongle.
Just all you need. Need another adapter.
Of course, man. Hopefully, in this new MacBook Pro cut of September, I won't need any adapters, but that's the hope. But Frank, another episode in the books. WWDC has come to an end. It's great to talk about all these cool products. Frank, what are you going to buy to end the episode? I can tell you what I'm going to buy. AirTags is definitely one thing. And for my birthday, since it's May 9th, so it's coming up. So all you people out there, make sure you get me some gifts.
May 9th. That's right. How old are you going to be?
I'm going to be a young, hip, trick 36.
36. Holy Christ.
I'm a youngin'.
Yeah, you are. Well, my birthday's coming up. My birthday is in August 1st.
That's far away, Frank. That's so far away.
It's coming up.
The next WWDC is still coming up, and you're talking about your birthday.
Yeah, well, out of this event, I think I will pick up some AirTags, check them out, test them out, and maybe a new iMac. I don't know, or maybe I'll wait until because my wife's MacBook Air is getting up there in age, so I don't know if I want to wait for the 15-inch. Or
he doesn't need a 15-inch MacBook
just get
Pro.
the 13. I don't know.
Come on, you got to get M1 in your. The problem is you don't have an M1 in your hands.
That's right.
I've had one. Trust me, you don't need a 15-inch unless you want the size.
Really?
Yes. Don't people talk about how fast the M1 is. It's really fast. You need to go to an Apple store and check it out.
Yeah.
But my last purchase product was the HomePod Mini. So I'm definitely, Apple's getting me to buy a little more this year. So I told you 2021 is the year where Apple is going to make a huge leap, I think. So get that stock out there. Buy that stock up,
right.
people.
Stock's down right now, man.
Yeah, it's all right. It goes back up eventually. I'm not worried about it. It's not going down that crazy. So
yep.
I mean, it went down crazy.
$2.
Yep. We're all right. Don't worry about it, people. But thank you very much for joining us for another great episode of the Think Different podcast. My name is Will TLD. That's Keto Frank Funk. We want to hope you enjoy all the other episodes. There's 85 more to listen to, and I love every single one of you.
Peace out.
And buy some damn AirTags.